Good to see everyone today. I'll make a couple comments in regards to the game on this past Saturday, and then maybe a few things about our upcoming game on the road versus Youngstown. Still excited about the win, and I know our players are too. Have had the opportunity to bump into a bunch of them yesterday, either in the training room or just moving through the facility today. I think we came out as healthy as we can after a big physical game like that, and so that's always a positive when you can get a win and don't feel like you got too banged up during the course of it. Number of positive things that came out. One, need to say something. Ben Ellefson, most career touchdowns for a tight end in this game. Again, exciting for him. Shows his career, the success he's had, and just how we've been able to utilize that position room. And those guys continue to perform for us. Ran the ball for 330 yards. Had a good day on special teams. I really thought Garrett Wegner had an outstanding day. Kickoffs, punts. I think every kickoff we had was through the end zone or a touchback, and that was critical for us. It didn't matter if it was into the wind or with the wind on Saturday. And so really pleased with how Garrett was performing. Red zone defense, you've heard me talk about it probably as a coordinator and then even as a head football coach. But field goals aren't going to get you beat. Our defense did a good job. And then the number one word that we talked about last week was finish. And we felt like 2 weeks ago we didn't finish some plays, didn't finish some series, didn't finish some drives. Not saying that we were perfect on Saturday by any means, but at the end of the first half, we were able to finish by not giving up points, and then we were able to finish the football game with a victory. And so at the end of it, our kids, they did exactly what I asked them to do, and that was come out and finish and compete for 60 minutes. There are a few things that I think, some big things that we need to continue to work on. 10 penalties is way too many. I was joking with the captains this morning in my captains meeting, and I said the Bison stopped themselves, had the best red zone defense all day. Either we were stopping them with our defense or we were stopping them with penalties, or stopping ourselves with penalties in the red zone. And so that's something that I think we can definitely clean up. And unfortunately, there are a lot of no-effort penalties. They're jumping off sides. They're things that you can control mentally. If it's a holding call, if it's a pass interference that gets called, I understand. Those are in the heat of the game, and those are high effort, high energy penalties that just happen in the game of football. But when you're making penalties that, they're all because of you at that time. We need to do a better job of that. Red zone offense, got to continue to stress that. We got to convert better or do a better job of converting in the red zone, and I think we'll continue to work on that. And then the run defense. We've played better. We will play better. But I thought they had an outstanding back, and I thought their offensive line complimented him well. I'm not taking anything away from South Dakota State. I'm just finding things that I know that we need to continue to improve on during the course of the last 4 games of the season. Other comments because I know it's going to get at the 2-point play. Probably in hindsight should have kicked the PAT, but at that moment I probably let my emotions get the better of me, and we had just scored 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of play, and I felt like regardless, let's get in the end zone one more time. What kind of message would that send to them? And I know it was only a 2-point touchdown, but I felt like the motivation, or I shouldn't say, but just how our kids were at that moment. Scoring another 2 points could be critical throughout the rest of the game. And I knew we were up by 10. I have a sheet with me on the sideline. I look at it before every series just to make sure, because we do have the ability to score explosively, and it was just a bad call by myself, and I'll take all the heat for it, and that's okay. It's like I said, it's nice when you get to learn and you still win. Otherwise, I'll open it up for questions at this time.
Kobe Johnson did play. Did he play?
Did not play. Just didn't feel that in the run game and a lot of the power sweep stuff we were doing, that this game just fit kind of where he was at. And so it wasn't that he's injured or did anything wrong, just one of the games that didn't fit into our plans as much.
Seems Adam Cofield early in the year seemed like more of a power guy, but in the last 3 games he's had big runs, a bunch of 50-plus runs and 71-plus. Is he becoming more of an explosive type running back, or how would you explain the way he's played over the last?
Well, I think he's always been explosive. Sometimes the nickname, the power back, comes just from when probably we use him, and it's a lot of times in the eye, and so he gets associated with being a downhill back because we're running power with him or we're running some sort of gap scheme. We're attacking the line of scrimmage with him. But, he has great speed. He has great, you've heard me say it, he has great footwork. He can make people miss. That last big run of his, being able to, an arm tackle's not going to cut it. Adam's a powerful kid, but still has good speed where he can outrace people as well.
He's listed now number 1 on the depth chart. Is that significant of anything, Cofield at running back?
No, I wouldn't have known that changed. So that probably just another head coach mistake.
You could play that FCS kickoff game much like Youngstown did. At this point of the year, does it make it seem even longer since you started so much earlier than other schools?
Say that one more time.
Youngstown played in the FCS kickoff this year. You guys did that 2 years ago. Does that make it now, here we are in November, even the season even longer than it usually is?
Going back to those few years that we did play that early game, I think it does. Those might, I don't know, I can't remember if those were 12-game seasons or not, but it does add up a little bit. One of the benefits of probably playing in that FCS kickoff is there usually is another bye week thrown in there, so you get to play one game, do a great job of evaluating your personnel and your talent and what you're good at, and maybe what you need to improve on. When you don't play in that game, you get one, and like us, we're going to play 8 straight here, and we're going to have to learn on the run.
What's your big takeaway from this game? Hard fought, hard nosed, all the emotion, everything. You guys come out with that win. What's your takeaway, and what do you hope your young guys take away with this?
Well, I hope as I said earlier, one of the positives was that we were able to finish, and we need to continue to work through setbacks. There's penalties. There's always negative plays that happen out there. We gave up 7 explosives, but our kids continued just to keep coming back and lining back up and playing extremely hard. And so I was pleased with that. At halftime, there was no fire and brimstone talk. We could control everything. It wasn't that we were playing poorly. We just weren't playing efficient all the time. And so, every little play matters. Being detailed in your assignment, being disciplined is critical as well because of the penalties. I'll go back to those things because I really think those got us off track a few times. We had a good series going. We had an 11-play series. We had a penalty. We had a 15-play series. We had a penalty. And so just those little things right there just set you back, and now you're trying to get that momentum again, and just frustrating moments. But I think we can continue to learn through them. But what a Saturday, what a football game, and I respect South Dakota State, and I had an opportunity to visit with Coach Stiglmeyer before the game, and I've known him for years, and we joked 2008 he tried to hire me as the linebacker coach, and so he was giving me a bad time about it, that how funny things work out. But they're a good football team, and they got some really talented players and good coaches.
Were you okay with the halfback pass, the Williams call on 3rd and 2 that ended up in the interception? Did you guys reassess that, or are you fine with the call and all that stuff?
I trust our coordinators. I have meetings with Tyler. I sit in a lot of offensive meetings. And there was video evidence. There's 2 halfback passes against South Dakota State this year. And if you watch film, he's open. Now it just comes down to execution. It wasn't if it was a bad play or not. It's just players still have to execute at times, and we didn't get the edge blocked quite as if we would like to have. And so we'll go back and learn. But at the same time, you've heard me say it. We would like to make people have to defend the entire football field. And sometimes in the past, I feel as if we play the game between the hashes, and we need to do some things that are a little bit different. And this one came back and got us. And I'll take I gave Tyler permission to call it. Let's go.
You guys have been pretty good between the hashes. That's why.
We have, and I wouldn't say we're not still, but we do have a better passing game right now. We've been able to pull some people out of the box because of our passing game, because of having threats on either side, and I'm excited about where we're at. We'll run the football when we need to run the football, and I think we still have done a pretty good job when you're averaging 300 yards a game.
You're kind of getting a reputation as a riverboat gambler, kind of head coach with the call. So are you okay with that? Or
I think some of these calls, if the people who really know me would say they are 100% opposite of what they would expect from Coach Entz. And so maybe that's part of the reason why they have been called. But I'm probably about as conservative of a person as you'd ever find.
Matt, on the 4th and inches, we all talk about Cofield, but what did you see from watching tape that you didn't see on the sideline?
Well, since the play was at our sideline, you kind of saw Josh Babbage and the other guy who I think, no one has ever said his name, but did it because we were in 23 Ogre. It was our personnel grouping. First time we'd ever been in it all year. The Ogre just means that we have an offensive lineman in an eligible number. Cody Mock was number 88. Cody was in. So the play before the timeout, Cody lined up on the other side. And so then we came back and we just flipped the formation after the timeout called by SDSU. I think Cody Mock and Cordell Volson were critical. I mean, they ate up the 6 technique, took the 6 technique up to the mic and set the edge. Josh Babbage did a great job of getting a piece. And then Hunter Lukey did an outstanding job of just getting enough of that corner trying to come down. I mean, they were in goal line defense in the middle of the field. It was goal line zone. So if you were going to throw the ball, they were going to concede it, but they were going to pack the box with 11 guys. And we ran similar things defensively here before, and so probably one of the benefits of the similarities between offense and defense from South Dakota State and ourselves is it's a look that our offense has seen before in fall camp and in spring ball.
When you take a look at Youngstown State now, what's a staple of a Bo Pelini-led Penguin team?
I think defensively they play extremely hard. They're physical. Even in the back end, they have some really good football players. I don't want to miss a name, but I think they're Mike linebacker Ray Anderson's a real good football player. The other guy that jumps out at me is Cash Mitchell, their Will, and then they're starting what I would consider strong safety. Zaire Jones is a real good football player. Come down and will crack you. And so these guys play really good football on defense. And they're still similar to what they've done. They're going to be a 2-high bracket team, play some quarters, and then occasionally bring some pressure. They're going to rely on their front four to get after your quarterback.
After such a high win, after now you got to go back on the road again, is there any worry about this team, taking a step down, so to speak, in play?
It hasn't even crossed my mind. We're going to address it on our Monday meeting and move forward, but we need to continue to get better. We're still got to finish the season.
Trey Lance had 18 runs. I know you talked about a pitch counter monitoring.
Yep. 18
too high, or what's your thought on that number in this game?
Well, two of them were, one was a sack, one was a scramble. So, and they're all called with the possibility of him keeping the football. There is always a read somewhere in there. We're not blocking someone, and the decision is going to be based on what that individual does. I don't have a concern. We went into this game with the idea that we were going to quarterback run game. We played the same outfit 9 months ago, and a former quarterback we had 15 carries for 150. So the video evidence was there that they had struggled with quarterback run game, and so that was part of the process going into it. And I don't have the stats in front of me, and Ryan might be able to help me out, but I think he averaged close to 5 yards a carry if you subtract the sack, probably. And so I think that's a pretty good clip. And I know the 12-yard gain he had down by the end zone got negated by a personal foul. But I'm not, I know he has probably about 80 carries so far this year, and I think we've used other quarterbacks probably about in the same ratio.
Youngstown State's played you guys about as tough as anybody the last 3 or 4 years. Is that just because they play such a good defense, or is there something else going on where they match up well with you guys to get some heck of games the last 4 years?
I think they're really sound up front, offensive line, defensive line. So I think that always generates a great level of competition when two teams play. I think they have good skill. Coach Pelini's an outstanding football coach. And so I think defensively they do cause us some issues. They always have answers. They make really good in-game adjustments. So it's going to be, for us to go on the road, we need to play well early during the course of the game. And if you remember last time we were out there, I don't know if it was an early evening game or an evening game. I just know it was dark when it ended. But we didn't play very well early, and we kind of got ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit. We need to get out and get going early in this game and establish a run game, establish playing good defense, and make them earn everything.
What did they do last week that maybe they didn't do the previous 3 weeks talking about Youngstown?
Well, effective. They're running the football, and they did a nice job. The quarterback, Mays, is getting a little bit healthy. After the UNI game, I believe he had somewhat of a knee issue. They were rotating some quarterbacks, so he's back in there, gives them the ability. He never left, but he has given them the ability to have a little bit more +1 run game now. So, again, making people have to defend a little bit more offense, more of their playbook.
Matt, this is your only night game of the season. Any changes itinerary-wise, or how do you feel about playing evening this Saturday?
Indifferent. It's all about the players. Whatever we need to do to get those guys ready. We'll change up our Saturday a little bit just because we will be in a hotel the majority of the days. We'll have a walkthrough in the morning, probably another walkthrough in the afternoon, and just try to keep our guys moving. But we're going to leave roughly the same time. Talked to the captains this morning. They want to continue to have the structure and the routine that we've had up to this point, and I agree with them. Let's not change if we don't need to.
Expect Garrett Malmstrom back this week. What's his status?
He warmed up on Saturday, wasn't ready to go. Knock on wood, work with Bobby and our medical staff to see where he's at, but it would be great to get him back.
Have you had a look at the conference standings now, heading to the last month, to assess where things are at?
Haven't looked at them at all, and all I know is we need to win one this week.
Dom Davis, what's his status?
Dom's still trying to recover from from his partially torn ACL and do what he can. Just probably not where he needs to be from a health standpoint. When you go on the road, you're all of a sudden limited to 64 guys dressing, and they all have to have a critical role and be able to help you on special teams if they're not a starter on offense and defense.